Hi, my name is Chris Dalglish and I'm a member of the Young Academy of Scotland. I'm an archaeologist with the University of Glasgow and my job involves teaching university students, both in the classroom and out in the field, and undertaking research projects. I've been a university lecturer for 6 years now. Before that, I worked as a professional archaeologist, undertaking archaeological fieldwork and assessing the potential impacts of developments such as roads, housing, wind farms and other things on the archaeological heritage which is found throughout urban and rural Scotland. I have to use lots of skills in my work, including literacy skills to keep up with the latest work in my area, good interpersonal skills as I have to work closely every day with colleagues and students and collaborators outside of the university, communication skills through email, on the phone, in meetings or presenting my work to public and professional audiences, and a combination of theoretical and practical skills specific to my discipline, thinking critically about human society in the past and about how the past relates to the present, but also working with others on the very practical fieldwork we do to recover evidence about the past. Numeracy skills are vitally important to me in many areas of my job, and something that I make use of every day away from work as well. At work, I use numeracy skills to manage the finances of research projects, and I use the same skills to work out how to handle money at home to make sure we can pay for everything we need to. My tasks at work also include calculating grades for student coursework and exams and drawing up timetables for classes. Solving practical problems using my knowledge of measurement is a skill which I also find myself using at home. With 4 of us in the family, it can be a complicated business trying to work out things like family shopping, working out the amount or volume of items we need for the weekly shop. Working out the amount or volume of items needed for the weekly shop changed significantly when we had 1 and then 2 children. As an archaeologist, one of the most important areas of my work, where numeracy skills are essential, is in archaeological fieldwork. In conducting fieldwork, I solve practical problems by applying my knowledge of measure, choosing the appropriate units and the degree of accuracy for the task, and using a formula to calculate area or volume when required. Archaeology is the study of past societies through the material remains they leave behind. Often, for an archaeologist, the first step in finding out about the past of any particular place is to find the archaeological evidence which survives and to record it. We can then go on to analyse this evidence and from there write the history of particular places and particular times. Because archaeologists work with material evidence, the remains of things people made and used, the buildings they lived and worked in and so on, we have to be able to record the physical features of these objects and places. This involves taking measurements of objects and places in a systematic way. My own particular interest is in looking at whole landscapes to try to understand how people lived in the past, from prehistoric times through to the present. This involves finding and recording a wide variety of evidence for past lives, buildings, settlements, routeways, fields, burial sites, ceremonial monuments, and many other things. In order to record this evidence so that we can analyse how the landscape has changed through time, we need to create maps of the archaeology. We have a lot of technology available to help us with this job, such as laser measurement technology, but we also rely on traditional techniques which require us to know how to lay out a right-angled grid on the ground and how to make measurements of different features within that grid. This tells us about the shape and size of the different features and their position in space relative to each other. In other words, archaeologists use geometry to measure, record and analyse traces of the physical environment which people inhabited in the past. These measurements provide us with information which we can use to understand how people lived, how they interacted with each other, and how they interacted with their environment. Numeracy matters to me because without it, I wouldn't be able to undertake the practical task of measuring, recording, and analysing the evidence which we need to begin answering some important questions. Questions about how people lived here in Scotland in the past, about how our relationships with each other and with the environment around us have changed through time, and about how history has led us to where we are now in the present.